Hi, welcome to Walking Wilder. Glad you're here. I pulled some cards for the theme of the of this reading for you. At the bottom here, sacred space. So there's something here that is a sacred. Well, let's see where this goes, because here's bond, which to me is a soul bond card. This is a strange energy. Okay, soul bond connection here. Very close, but it's like there's something about the nature of it that might not entirely be positive. Here's the warning card, and growth. So there's something here, perhaps that you're not seeing, that is not really. Yeah, there's something at play here that is just, perhaps it's some sort of, there's some sort of energy here. See how they are playing, but it's out in the rain, which of course has its own energy, but it's like, to me it comes with this sense of maybe we shouldn't be doing this. So whatever it is, and curiosity beyond it, whatever it is that is going on in this connection, it sort of comes with a sense of, well, if this is truly a sacred space, a soul bond connection, perhaps we shouldn't be doing whatever it is that this is about. And Spirit is coming with a warning for you here. Now, if it's you or some other individual, or what kind of connection, soul bond connection can be all kinds of things: friendship, job, spouse, family. It does not have to be romantic. But someone in your life that you have a close connection to, that you feel bonded to, that you feel is some sort of sacred union. Tell me more about this, Spirit. What is this? What is at the matter of this? The core of the matter. Let's see here. Five of Wands. Some discussions. Six of Cups. This could trigger something in you. The Six of Cups has to do with memories, often childhood memories here. The Five of Wands, could be discussions. This can either be something that goes on in you because of a certain energy in this connection, something that happens or whatever, or it's something that triggers you, that triggers some sort of response that is based on something from earlier in your life, your childhood, some sort of wounding that you have with you. Fool card at the bottom. So, this young energy, this, I don't have much life wisdom to deal with this type of thing. And I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying that wherever age it was that you had this wounding, which this is probably unconscious for most of you. Most of our wounding are until we start working with it. And until, when whatever happened here, you didn't have a whole lot of wisdom. You weren't very old. You didn't have a lot to draw on. You didn't have a lot of, ways of dealing with this on an emotional level. So let's see. And this can trigger something. If there's something in this connection that the other person says or does, or something that triggers this, then some things can come up that we're not even aware of. Things that are in your shadow, that are just kind of patterns that are playing out, ways you see things, ways you hear things that might not be, what they were intended for, that type of thing. So tell me a little bit more about the Six of Cups, Spirit, and the Five of Wands. The Empress. Okay. This can be a mother figure. Somebody might have taught you or told you that, this is the way this is. There's something here that has made you feel unsure, a way of viewing life, perhaps a way, that things were in your family that just never really felt right to you, that always felt like, well, I don't know, I'm not really vibing with this. Tell me more, Spirit. And welcome, by the way, if you are new, and welcome back if you've been here before. Please do click like and subscribe. At the bottom we have the Page of Swords. He seems very determined here to figure out what this is about, so that's a good thing. There's a part of you that is like, all right, I need to get to the bottom of this to figure out what it is, because this is actually messing with my sense of worth. Five of Pentacles. This is the lack mentality, the feeling of not having enough, of not, feeling like you are safe, or just that calm sense of everything is the way that it's supposed to be. What are the energies that are challenging here? Spirit. Justice. All right. So there's something here, some sort of karmic pattern. With this bond card, this can be a soul bond connection that is here to show you something about this. Talk to me about this. Temperance, balance. Page of Pentacles. Ten of Cups. And Union. Yeah, this is, whatever this is, this energy from your childhood, this karmic soul bond connection has taught you something about Ten of Cups, your overall happiness, union, what relationships are supposed to look like, that is really out of balance. That is just not, you perhaps some of you keep manifesting the same type of relationships where you are not really, they're not really vibing with you. There might be, it might turn out to look like a sacred space or a sacred connection in the beginning, but things play out. There's some sort of, this play can also be like a form of manipulation. Someone is not really, perhaps someone, you've been in a relationship where you've been gaslighted, and it doesn't have to be heavy. For some of you, yeah. For others of you, it's been more subtle, but that doesn't mean it's not damaging. That just means that it might take you longer to realize what's going on here. But this is based on you having been taught as a child, you're not good enough, you don't deserve that, you need to work for me to love you, you need to, with the Five of Wands, do what I tell you to do, that type of thing. There's a feeling of not being free in this, not being able to take up space, to be able to, be who you want to be. Here's the Star. Five of Swords here, someone perhaps, there's been arguments, there's been, people yelling at each other, yelling at you, perhaps when you were a kid. Very rigid rules, that type of energy. And you're starting to see that, Ace of Swords here, to see the clarity of that. What's the supportive energy here for the viewer, Spirit? The Emperor at the bottom. Here's the Hierophant. So, for some of you, this can have been a very traditional upbringing in, with the Emperor here. Perhaps this father figure that's been, behind that. Yeah, King of Cups, which for some strange reason in this has control as the key word. Judgment, So there's this feeling of, it's been, if you resonate with this, chances are you've grown up in an environment where someone has been very judgmental, very, this is my way or the highway, this is how we do things, and I really don't care if you don't like it type of thing. And you need to, get in line if you want to be loved, because for whatever reason, this person, probably due to their own wounding, has only been able to fully love if um, no, that's not what I want to say. Not being able to fully love. They've seen love as something that you can control. They've seen love as loyalty created by fear, if that makes sense. Here's the Ace of Cups. Yep. Here's the Ace of Cups. And here's the Ten of Swords. You got to love me, because if you don't, things are going to hurt. Then we're not going to be happy. We are going to have arguments with I think it was over here, the Five of Swords. It's going to be very unpleasant. Love, is only something you get if you do what I tell you to do. Otherwise, there's going to be hell to pay type of energy. In various forms, And again, for some of you, it's been more subtle. It's been this, poor me, and some parents fall into that too. But for quite a few of you, I really feel this strong. This is the way it is. This is my household. Do it my way, or else. What the seer don't see coming here, Spirit. Emperor again at the bottom. So yeah, definitely some Emperor energy here, which is a powerful figure. And there's also but I'm just in this. Of course, this is the wolf, the leader of the pack, we howl together type of thing. The Star, Ten of Pentacles, and Prince of Pentacles, a Page of Pentacles. See how he has this armor on in this deck here. You have really, really worked hard to protect yourself, to protect your sense of stability, your sense of being grounded, of being accepted, of being enough. Here's the Ten of Pentacles. This is working towards stability on all kinds of levels, emotional, financially, being free, being able to, decide in your own life. So, and the Star, of course, is the healing card. So you are working towards this, and it's taking, for some of you, everything you got. See how, how protective you have learned to be of your own energy. And I kind of see, this heart thing opening up a little bit. See how they are sitting here, protecting this bond, protecting this love. If something's going to change, or in order for something to change here, to, be more in union, to be more balanced with the Temperance and the Two of Cups here, then you need to take off a little bit of the armor. And that can be really, really difficult if you're used to having to defend your boundaries, to having to be, constantly feeling into what's going on in this connection. Am I truly being loved? Is someone playing around? Is, all of that going on? Two of Cups, this union, but also balance. For some of you, yeah, there's something, self-interest here. Yeah. For some of you, yes, there's something in your current connection that's triggering this for good reason, because something's going on that should not be going on, whatever that is. And Spirit is coming with this warning. For others of you, this is you being triggered by past stuff, reacting, in not so healthy ways. Needing to heal something here. Oh, the universe in reverse. I don't often read reverses, but since it was like stuck in there, which is really not where it needs to be, Um, so yeah, this is you. Okay, we need to put it like that, I guess. This is you not fully ending a pattern that started out in your childhood. So here's the warning from Spirit saying, okay, you need to look at this. You need to see what it is that makes you react in relationships or attract the same type of relationships that are really not good for you. Can we have some advice here, Spirit? Wait. These cards are kind of wild. The moon. So something, has been sort of hidden in the dark. This is the shadow side of it. This is what you have not really been seeing. For some of you, yeah, you've kind of wondered, why do I keep attracting the same people and stuff, but might not, you might not have seen the connection. All right, Spirit. Yeah. Eight of Swords. This feeling of being isolated, of not really being able to move, of being stuck, of just stressed, um, this lack of freedom, this lack of connection. In the original tarot deck, this is like, she's all tied up and has, something around her eyes she can't see and stuff. But if you look closely, she's really not tied up very tightly. She could actually easily free herself if that's what she wanted to do. This has a lot to do with being in your head about this. And yeah, here's the Seven of Swords, which has to do with deception, has to do with lies, has to do with not, everything not being truthful, and of course, illusion here with the Moon card. But this can also be you telling yourself stories that are not true about who you are, what you're worth, what you're not worth, how love is supposed to look and feel, that type of thing. And here's the Hanged Man, which is, called perspective in this deck. And so Spirit is like, it's time you change those stories. These are the childhood stories that were told to you about what love is supposed to look like, what love is supposed to feel like. And the thing about it is, sometimes if we grow up in dysfunctional families where love is always like something that's being bargained about, where you're never really just being loved because you're there and you're an awesome kid, then you get this, you grow up and you get this kind of thing. I always have to prove myself. For someone to love me, I have to prove myself. I have to be worthy. I have to do things for them. I have to take care of stuff. I have to fit in. I have to speak, to not speak, to, whatever it is. But it's a pattern in you. And even though it doesn't feel nice, it doesn't feel good, it feels familiar. And that's why we keep attracting those type of situations again and again and again. That always turns out the same way. It turns out with lies, deceit, people hurting us, leaving us, whatever it is, because we carry with us the stories that we learned when we were small kids who didn't, we didn't know any better. But it is our job to fix it now that we are grown. And you can heal this type of energy. You need to work on learning to decipher between what feels good in love and what feels familiar. Because chances are, if you're resonating with this reading, then those two things are not the same. Sad to say, but they're not. So what feels good? What would it take for you to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel heard, seen, protected, not feeling like you had to carry the whole thing, not feeling like everything was your, all of that? What would that look like? What would that feel like? When I say that, what does that feel like in your nervous system? Because the familiar thing might very well be in your nervous system, I only get loved, I only get approval when I work really, really hard, when I do what I'm told, when I, overgive, whatever it is, whatever it was for you. Codependent patterns, you know, if you grew up in families with addiction or whatever it was. But chances are the way real love should feel and the way something is familiar to you, not the same thing. So there's some healing work to be done here if this resonates with you. What else, Spirit? Yeah, the lovers. You got to learn to love yourself. There has to be balance. You know, true love is not always what feels familiar, because if you didn't grow up with true love, then that can't be it, you know? So in order to find union, in order to have the healthy bonds, you have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to love, real love, not familiar love, but real love. And for some of you, you might very well already have a healthy connection, but it feels unfamiliar. It makes you feel unsure of yourself. It makes you feel maybe that, oh no, this can't be, because this feels too good somehow. There's a lot of angles on this. Yeah. Do you have more, Spirit? Strength. Yeah, this is not easy. Healing these type of patterns is literally what, you know, probably the hardest work that you're ever going to have to do, the hardest inner work, but it is also the thing that can turn your life completely around. Like in completely. Yeah, Eight of Cups. Time to retreat from these old patterns, time to move forward, to go for balance, to go for healthy union, and learn the difference between what's familiar and what is actual real love. What makes you feel good, what makes you feel stuck in old patterns, in over, unhealthy ways. Ace of Wands. New beginning. Five of Cups. Disappointment. And Two of Swords. Something that's been blocked. So yeah, there's something blocked in you, preventing you from seeing your own worth, from seeing this new beginning here, from taking leadership in your own life. This is shadow work, guys. Really. Yeah. And Spirit is saying you are protected in this. So there's a warning, and there's let's go heal this so that you can actually, manifest real love that feels good and is real love, and not some old familiar pattern that is not a fun place to be. Please click like, subscribe, write a comment if this resonates with you. If it doesn't, no hard feelings. Thank you so much for watching if you're still here, and I'll see you in the next reading. Big love.